Hello friends, welcome to Local on Aspen 82. My name is Oliver Sharpe. I am very excited to be joined by Reggie Watts. Hello Reggie, how are you?
Hello, how are you?
I'm doing well. I have to apologize, I was late today. I'm so sorry. My mother would be mortified. Don't tell her that I was late. Punctuality is big. Good to see you. How is Aspen treating you so far?
It's great. Yeah, it's kind of like what I thought Aspen is like, which is like cute, quaint, and a lot of like people dressing up in winter clothes, like fancy winter clothes.
Yes, not necessarily to go do winter things,
No,
but they're just
not at
dressing
all.
up to look like they're doing
Yes,
winter
exactly.
things.
It's like look, don't use.
And you've had some good snacks already. Tell me about your meal last night.
Yeah, we went to the Alpine
French Alpine Bistro,
French
yeah.
Alpine Bistro. Yeah, that was awesome. So good. I mean, it was like exactly the right thing to go to, and yeah, I was very happy about that. Yeah, it's good. I mean, we had coffee today at the Italian place just somewhere over here.
Yes.
That was really nice. Might go to this cafe afterwards.
You've been touring all of the food establishments. I like this. You're a man after my own heart.
Well, you got to, because that's how you learn about a town. You know, it's like food, restaurants, whatever cafes. That's the thing.
I love it. You're here for the Aspen Laugh Festival.
Yes.
Tell me how you got involved with this. Are you excited to be here and be on stage at the Wheeler Opera House?
Yeah, I mean that the building looks great. I walked by it yesterday, and yeah, it looks really great. And these are all friends that are performing on, and yeah, and it was like any excuse to have a really great, fun performance in a really beautiful location. I mean, like, why would you not?
So Patton Oswalt was here the other day, raving about you. He said the thing he loves about your shows is you never know what's going to happen. And I feel like that's true for the audience. Is that true in a sense for you too? Do you go into it not really knowing what's going to happen, or do you have pretty much a game plan about how it's going to go down?
I definitely don't know what's going to go on, but I just like riffing, improvising, and so that's why one of the reasons why I do like walking around a town and getting a feel for it, because I can use that, I can incorporate it in my act, which is great, and yeah, and it keeps me on my toes and keeps things interesting. So yeah, I don't quite know what's going to go on.
And is that not knowing? Is there a sense of fear in that, or is it more a feeling of freedom?
It's more freedom for sure. There's sometimes I might feel like a little off or like disconnected, but most of the time I'm really stoked, because I also have my music gear up there. So if I feel like I'm a little bit at a loss somewhere, I can go, well, I'll just make a song and that'll be fun. So I have like a few things that I can go to that kind of shakes up my thinking process and keeps me fresh.
Excellent. And what are you on the road right now? I mean, I guess you're on the road right now here, but in the larger sense, are you touring a bunch right now, or what's your life look like these days?
Yeah, starting to tour more. It's like kind of spot dates right now. It's just, like I have a gig next week in San Francisco. I have a special I'm shooting March 3rd in LA. Then I'm going to Berlin, and I have like 5 or 6 shows in Northern Europe, and then I'm hanging in Berlin and making music with some people for a little while.
That's awesome.
And then doing TED, and then I go to Iceland. So yeah, it's crazy.
And so the TED engagement, are you going to do a talk, or are you going to do more like your show? Are you going to do a talk?
Yeah, it's like a 9-minute talk. It's going to be on improvisation, and I'll improvise it. So I'm just going to talk about the way that I like to improvise, like what I think about improvisation, and some of it will be performative as well. There'll be me demonstrating stuff and talking about improvisation.
That's so cool. As someone in a creative profession, and specifically in improv, do you think ever about, people are talking so much about AI now. As a creative, how do you think about AI? Does it worry you? And it feels like the one thing that AI would never be able to do is improv. It's like the ultimate human element.
Yeah, I think the thing that people don't really understand about artificial intelligence is I think they think of it as like replacing and like, just doing things that humans would do on its own, but AI is completely dependent on human input, and so there's no raison d'etre for AI at this point yet, and so it's still about human input. So for me, AI is an amazing tool, and I'm not necessarily fearful in any way about it replacing anything. I see it as an opportunity for it to enhance and to expand on ideas that you have in your head that you might not be able to do without expensive production equipment or whatever. Like you can have something that's next to you that can I'm thinking of this, and it's like this, and you're like, yeah, that's pretty close. Yeah, this is cool, and then keeps you in a flow state a little bit more. So I'm stoked about AI. I'm a big advocate.
That's a great way to think about it, about augmenting your own personal creativity and maybe helping it get through some barriers that you might have.
Yeah.
So musician, comedian, author, you also have a book out.
Yeah.
Talk about Great Falls and what made you want to get that memoir out and some of what people can expect from reading the book.
Yeah, I mean, I thought like, well, it seemed to be enough time has passed in my life where I feel like I can tell a story, about it, and I wanted to talk about my high school experiences because I was hoping that maybe I could make it into a series or a movie or something like that at some point, because I think like what happened in those formative years for me were pretty incredible, and like maybe more people had experiences like that, but like for me it felt pretty unique. And so I want to tell people that and just kind of give people an idea of where I came from, like all the influences all the ingredients that went into making me, get a book out there. It's kind of cool.
That's huge. I mean, it's huge to have a book. Like to add author to your kind of resume is very cool.
Oh, that's sweet. Yeah. It's cool. It's still very abstract. I'm still like, oh, did I make a book? Oh, yeah, I guess a book is out there. Yeah.
And talk a little bit about that, about what you were feeling in those years, the 80s, I would assume, in Great Falls, a small town, being a creative person. How was that to navigate for you, and how does that influence your life these days?
Yeah, I mean, growing up in a small town.
Pre-internet.
Pre-internet, and then, I mean, like a small city, I guess you'd say. It was like 65,000 people, but I mean, it's great. I mean, everywhere you go in Great Falls, you can see the mountains around you. It's kind of like being here, but it's a little bit more extreme. But like, you can see golden fields and like small mountain ranges all around you, and it's 10 minutes you're out of town. You could be fishing, you could be hiking, you could be doing whatever you want to do. But then it still had like some city culture to it. So it was like enough of societal ingredients to like sample everything. Plus it was the 80s, so television was booming, movies were booming, video games were a new thing that people were starting to get into. And there was a lot of newness and kind of optimism, and the economy was doing well, and schools were funded really well, and music was insane. I mean, it was so good. Like all these incredible, like, Top 40 had all genres of music represented in Top 40, which is different now. But back then, you'd have like Phil Collins, and then you'd have Devo, and then you would have like Philip Bailey doing a duet with Phil Collins, and you would have Earth, Wind and Fire, and then you'd have like El DeBarge and Kool and the Gang, and I don't know, like Run DMC and Aerosmith and Metallica. You know what I mean? Like it was insane.
I'm getting very nostalgic for the 80s now.
Yeah, I know. It was a really beautiful time. I feel very fortunate to have grown up there. So that was the other thing I wanted to kind of bring across, that optimism and a way of being when you're growing up that allows you to connect a little bit more with yourself instead of immediately connecting into technology.
It's so cool. And you actually had to dig in, go to the library. I spent a lot of time at the library too, but go find those sources for creativity and for inspiration. It's not as easy as it is today. No. So you mentioned potentially doing a series. Who plays you in the series for Great Falls?
Probably Idris Elba.
Yes, yeah.
That's kind of
he can play young.
That's the natural choice. It's like first choice. Most people like immediately boom. That or Antonio Banderas.
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, it'd probably be like an unknown. Like
Yeah.
some kid that mixed kid that is unknown and has the right vibe.
And amazing hair.
And amazing hair. He's got to have the right hair.
Got to have good hair. Yeah.
But if he's young enough, he's probably gonna have good hair. It's like it's hard to overlook that. But like, I don't know. It's just like it's exciting. I really want to be involved in the casting process. I want to, find someone that really embodies my friend Chelsea, that embodies my friend John Thomas, and have my friends have input too. The people that are playing them be like, oh, that's cool. Yeah, I like that person, whatever.
That's what a dream that you get to pick the person that plays you in the book. In the show. That's so cool. Reggie, thank you for being here. Really appreciate it.
My pleasure.
Enjoy the rest of your time in Aspen. Enjoy the Wheeler Opera House. It's a very cool building. I think you're going to love it.
I'm stoked, man. I can't wait.
Everybody get out to the Laugh Festival tonight. We're going to take a quick break. We're back for a lot more on Local after this.